Yo, what is going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new week, and with it, the start of more locals feature matches. Here we are in round 1, and we've got VW on the right versus Shaddoll Invoked Dogmatica on the left. I know last week we had 5 rounds, with the 5th round deciding actual first place and winning the Red Eyes OTS mat. There is no 5th round this week. But there still is a Judgment Dragon OTS mat on the line for first and second place, I believe, is how we divvied it out this week. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy these matches. And of course, first place deck profile going up on Friday for the actual winner of the tournament. First place after, Swiss and everything. But looks like VW winning the die roll here and going first, starting with the Prosperity, adding a Lulu and getting hit with the Droll there, unfortunately. And also checking out those poll results, about 730 votes as I'm recording this, and 55% of the vote going in favor of Shaddoll Invoked Dogmatica. So let's see if you guys are correct this time around. You guys usually have a pretty good track record, especially when it comes to these meta matches, like when we have 2 meta decks, tier 1 decks going off against each other. You guys usually tend to have a pretty good track record. So, and let's see how much this VW player, my friend John here, actually cares about Droll and Lockbird. Because if you guys remember when I was playing Marincess, VW seemed to actually be the bane of my existence during that one deck 1 month. Because anytime I hand trap them, they just, proceeded to actually just not care whatsoever. VW does have a lot of hand trap resilience at the cost of being a not very consistent deck. It is always a deck that needs 2 cards to play. But once if it can play, it usually has a very easy time going in to certain hand traps. Not Crystal Wing, but Nibiru, because of Crystal Wing, Droll and Lock, Lancia, because, at the end of the day, you can still just play it like a synchro deck where you're just putting a tuner, non-tuner on field, establish Shen, give yourself follow-up, right? And he's ensuring the follow-up here with the help of the GG, making sure he's resolved that, and also making sure his Chuche is going to be live next turn. That's why we saw him banish a card there with the King Long, or banish the Chuche there to increase level, probably because he does have another Chuche set there. Otherwise, there's really no reason to do that. So he's got Nyan and Chuche banished, and of course Nyan being able to return a card to the extra deck there mid combo. It's one of the reasons why I think like Prosperity is so incredibly good in VW. Like the extra deck space, like it does kind of matter sometimes. Obviously, like no deck would really want to lose 6 cards in the extra deck if they don't have to. But like sometimes, just seeing the card is important, especially in a deck like VW. Again, you need 2 cards to play. But like they have the luxury of like really only needing to banish 5, because like if they're doing their normal combo, right, and it's like they see at least a couple names, which is pretty common, like you can put back something off the Nyan. You could banish a Zeus, put it back. You could banish M7, you could put it back. You could banish Gossip Shadow, right? You could put it back. So it's like, it's nice to see that Prosperity can actually just become like 5 cards instead of 6, because you have that in-engine way to recycle otherwise unrecyclable cards, because usually cards that are banished face down can't, usually be brought back by, normally easily set up means, I guess. But we're going to see our Shaddoll Invoked player follow up with a Prosperity of his own, only going for 3 here. And we're also going to see him follow up now with Shaddoll Fusion. And we're going to see him chain Chuche in response to go ahead and destroy Shen to make it so that there is no monster, especially some of the extra deck, on the field anymore. And if you cannot Fusion summon from hand, the Fusion is actually going to fizzle, because he's no longer going to be able to send from deck, because Shaddoll Fusion does check on resolution. It's the same reason as to why you can actually, if you're playing Earth Machine, which, by the way, I just uploaded an Earth Machine guide yesterday. I'll leave a link to that on the top right if you guys want to check it out. The ultimate guide to Earth Machine, but similar interaction there, where you can actually, if you have just double-headed Anger Knuckle up on your field, and it's the only monster special from the extra deck, and they go Shaddoll Fusion, you can chain the Knuckle, sending itself off to bring out something like Bullet, and then Shaddoll Fusion can no longer fuse from the extra deck, or fuse from the deck, because you have no monster summoned from the extra deck. So basically making his opponent go minus here. I mean, Not 100% because, you know, he did have to burn Chuche. He did have to get rid of an incredibly good floodgate in that of the Shen, but like double Foolish Burial plus getting a body on field is a huge thing to stop. So, I mean, if you have to sacrifice a card like Shen, it is what it is. I mean, the deck can already get it back so easily on the following turn because VW can, you know, with what being Wind and Earth, such an easy time to get a card like Shen back. But now we're going to see him resolve Natty Your Servant. Pretty good follow-up card here to kind of recover from that. Going to go ahead and dump Apglone to add Fleur-de-Lis, and Apglone is going to add one. It looked like it was adding Aerial here, and then discarding the Aerial. And then he's going to go ahead and banish 3. The remaining cards in this graveyard there, so that's going to hurt quite a bit. So Shen will not return unless he can get access to Nyan to put it back. So you really, again, never technically lose anything in the VW deck so long as you have access to Nyan and it is in circulation. Granted, it's a bit of a slow process, but a card like Shen, of course, can be recurred even from banish. And now we're going to see him normal summon Ecclesia and activate Ecclesia effect. Go ahead and search out the punishment from the deck to the hand. And then battle phase, he'll swing in for 15, but it is halved because of Pot of Prosperity. So only take 750 damage there, dropping his opponent down to a 7,250 life point total. Man, there's one thing I hate in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's 50 life points. I hate those moments. I hate when anything has to go to 50 or to 25. It just makes things more complicated than they already need to be. But we're going to see our Shaddoll Invoked player set one. Could be anything, right? And hand it over to our VW player. Is going to lead with that Lulu that we know he had from the previous turn, or his previous turn, thanks to the GG. Targeting the Chuche here, dumping King Long, and then I think adding Lili there, if I saw that correctly. Now activating Lili, targeting the King Long, and sending his Lili to the grave there, which doesn't make any. I think he did that on accident. So I'm assuming he'll summon that to the field here momentarily, and also dumping Nyan with its other effects. So yeah, Lili should be on the field. I think he accidentally discarded it instead of summoning it. Also, my friend on the right was playing with this deck on the other side of his mat because of superstitious reasons. No joke, the night before, I was playtesting with him, and he hard drew Sean Wu. Like, I want to say, like, it had to be, like, 10 games. Maybe even more. It's just absurd. So today he thought he'd try something a little different to make it so that card would not be glued to his hand. Because if you're a VW player, you know the frustrations of drawing a card like that. But we're going to see him go for the Vermilion Mech. And it's going to force out a punishment. He still gets to banish the Lulu there, which is great for him because when Vermilion Mech dies, he can still add back the tuner that is Lulu. And then we're going to see him resolve a King Long here, discarding the other Lulu. And then now resolving GG here. So being able to play through this rather easily, you know, punishment really not too big of a deal for a deck like VW to deal with, especially if it's got its engine rolling. And here it certainly does. Nyan bringing itself back right now. And I believe he's also already recycled the Shen off of a Nyan earlier. And looks like he's now using Chuche Engraved to go ahead and boost Nyan by 3. So now he has a level 6 tuner and a level 3 non-tuner. So he could go ahead and make Mistworm. No, he could make Stellar Windwolf, which is actually a card I really want to see more play in a deck like VW or even in Speedroid. It'd be really cool to see that card actually, you know, work very well because it is a very strong card. But we're going to see Nibiru, a card that I absolutely despise this current format. A card that I've honestly despised ever since its inception. I've just learned to hate it more and more. Because I feel like, and I'm going to go on a bit of a side tangent here as we see him resolve Lao Lao. But Nibiru is just such a poorly designed card. Oftentimes, the best decks, like you're seeing right now, literally do not care about getting Nibiru'd unless they open subpar. And at that point, you're probably losing because of other factors and not just Nibiru. So, like, the fact that Nibiru really doesn't hard punish a lot of the best decks, Dragon Link, Invoked, VW, Sword Soul, because they can put Baron on field as their third summon, you know, Tri Brigade, like, a lot of these decks just don't really care too much about Nibiru. So, like, it doesn't oftentimes beat the best decks. It instead punishes pretty much any deck underneath those best decks. So, like, you just get punished at the end of the day for playing a fair deck. And that's just absolutely one of the most infuriating things for myself and a lot of other people in the community to have to consistently deal with. It's just annoying. It is what it is. And I'm sorry for ranting, but I'm sure I'm going to get somebody who's going to defend Nibiru in the comments, and that's fine. But your opinions are yours. My opinions are mine. I'm not saying, Nibiru is a card that, shouldn't exist, but, I'm also kind of on the boat that, maybe it shouldn't exist. Because it's just a terribly designed card and does not do the intended job that it was supposed to do when it arrived here in the TCG. Because, again, combo decks, the best decks of the format, they don't care about it. They literally don't. Dragon Link, okay, Seals Effect, Summon Red MD. Mechaba with the Shaddoll deck. Literally playing through hand traps like we're seeing here with VW, or putting Crystal Wing up on your 5th summon. Like, it's just no deck that's tier 1 really cares about the card. It's just every other deck underneath it gets punished for being a fair deck. But yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry. Moving on, we see Zeus established here. Now after bouncing back the Nibiru with the M7. Bold move. But then again, it doesn't really care about that card, to be honest, and gets to establish a card like Zeus, so fair trade. And now we're going to see him normal summon Alistair. Here we go, boys. Searching out the invocation from the deck to the hand. And has to deal with a Chuche pop, which has definitely got to be live at this point, and a Zeus send. So we'll see where this goes here. Activating invocation. Banishing Ecclesia. I was going to say, it definitely has light targets in the grave. So banishing Ecclesia and Alistair. Checking the graveyard of the VW player. No targets there for him unless he's playing Raijin, or Raijin, however you want to pronounce it. We'll see him summon Mechaba. Invocation, do the thing. Put it back in the deck. Add the Alistair back to the hand. Also has a copy of Triple Tactics Talent too, because that card could actually come in very clutch here if his opponent decides to Zeus him at any given point. So long as it's, not in the battle phase, which he could definitely do. That will force. I mean, he knows he has Nibiru in hand. He knows he has Lancia in hand. So, or not Lancia, Alistair. So like, the Zeus is gonna get negated 100%. So like, you might as well let him burn the Alistair in hand anyways. Like we're seeing him here, to get over it and damage step. And yeah, that'll make it a little bit easier, or a little bit harder for him to clear the board. Because if he were to go on attack declaration, chain Zeus, he chains Mechaba, Zeus gets banished, and, doesn't resolve, obviously. So he'd still be able to attack into the token there, if the token stats aren't bigger than Mechaba is. But then he just, overtop the token. And clearing the token isn't huge, but, makes his opponent lose a little leverage. Now having a massive body on the field to be able to work with, which can be very threatening sometimes. But either way, he will just pass turn after establishing the Mechaba, clearing the Zeus with ease. And I mean, granted, it was only a 2-material Zeus. If it was a 4-material Zeus, it probably would have been a different story. We'd probably see the field white. But I mean, at this point, you already have King Long and Chuche up. Do you really want to clear your own cards? And you better let your opponent just waste a battle phase and an Alistair to out it, right? Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. So now we're just going to see him resolve Desires, resolve Lulu here. So gaining a lot of momentum, activating Lily now. See what he's going to go ahead and target here. He's going to target the Lulu. Still has some targets left in the deck. Dumping just a spell here. No trap, because I would assume that both Chuche and Zhanwu have been exhausted at this point, and either in the graveyard or banished. I know the other Chuche is definitely banished at this point. Or might not be, actually. Could be wrong. Zhanwu's still in the grave. Okay, that confirms that. Not too much left in the extra deck here. Shen? I don't know if Shen's still banished. I figured I saw him recycle something to the extra deck earlier in this game. And it looks like Shen is not banished anymore, so it's definitely still in the extra deck. And now we're going to see him activate the Chuche. It's going to attempt to destroy the Mechaba, and I assume he's chaining the Almirage to that to protect it, make it so it cannot be destroyed by card effects. So that's all Almirage does. Protects from destruction by card effects, not battle. Remember that. Don't let your opponent say that it does both, because Almirage isn't that good. But now we're going to see him resolve a GG, targeting the Lulu, sending out Chuche, so he does have another Chuche here, which I think he just recycled it with a Chuche, so we can go ahead and dump it again. Yeah, he recycled Nyan and Chuche, so go ahead and send it back to the grave again for more level manipulation. Nyan effect in grave, summoning itself out as a level 3. Tuner, Synchro 6 into Charge Warrior, and he knows he has Nibiru in hand at this point. So, like, he's definitely playing into the Nibiru here, which is interesting. He's going to recycle off Nyan. He's going to offer Cut to go ahead and before he draws, right? And he is going to go ahead and Nibiru, which is, I mean, like, it's not a huge deal for our VW player here. Like, it's not the end of the world because he still has a lot of gas in hand to keep going here. But another massive token put onto the field. I don't even want to know what the stats are at this point. It at least has over 45, 50, 63 attack because the Charge Warrior, the Mechaba, the Lily. Pretty big token. I think Mechaba only has like 2,000 defense. Charge Warrior I think has like less than 2,000. So already the Nibiru itself can't get over it. That's when you know it becomes a problem. If your own Nibiru can't out your Nibiru token, things get a little bit more tricky. And he's going to go ahead and resolve talents here. Resolving it now, interestingly enough. Because, like, he could have also just talenced. Well, maybe he drew the talents off the Charge Warrior. That might have been what happened there. Otherwise, I was like, there's no reason you just don't talents after he burns the Almirage. So probably drew it a little bit too late there, but at least the Nibiru making it live here at this point. Or not, I mean, not just the Nibiru, but literally anything else like the Almirage. So I think you put back a Fleur-de-Lis and is leaving him with the talents in hand. Still being able to get into Shen Shen here, so still has that really good recovery play in that of Shen Shen. And getting over the Nibiru here, not going to be possible because he already used Chuche at this point. But again, he can just use the Chuche on his opponent's turn. If he tries to go into the battle phase to clear the Shen Shen, he does have Chuche to protect. So he's just going to pass turn there. And, or no, he put his opponent's talents back and left him with the Fleur-de-Lis. Not the other way around. And it looks like he's drawn into Magical Meltdown for turn. Pretty solid card to be able to grab here. Really, really solid card at this point. Because that's going to get him another Alistair and into more fusion plays. And not to mention, Meltdown is just insane on its own. Because, you know, it has that sentence, you know, where it's like your opponent can activate effects in response to the summon of a fusion monster. Or fusion spells obviously cannot be negated, right? Really insane card. So we're going to see him activate the Meltdown. That's going to add Alistair. And he is going to normal summon Alistair, or at least maybe normal summon Alistair. Now he's going to normal summon Alistair. Okay. In fact, to go ahead and search out the invocation from the deck, he's going to go ahead and grab that. And I think he's already exhausted Almirage at this point, so I don't think he's going to be able to do any link plays here immediately. But he doesn't really need to because he's already got like fodder in grave to be able to perform a fusion. Thinking on Chuche, no Chuche here. Might as well let him fusion summon first because there's no way he's got a trap in hand to be able to... I mean, he knows the last card in hand at this point. He knows the two cards. He knows one's Fleur-de-Lis. He knows the other's Invocation. So whatever fusion he does decide to bring out, he can just remove and also ultimately banish with the Chuche. And both, well, not Alistair here, but, well, both Alistair and Invocation are going to be banished because of the Shen Shen. I mean, you could have just gone battle phase first, attack the Shen Shen, and then Invocation main phase 2, because that would have forced out the Chuche there. Or maybe it would have. I don't know. But we're going to go and see him activate Invocation regardless, banishing a Abkalone and a Alistair. And this is going to bring out the Agodes. I can only imagine. So yeah, it looks like he is going to summon Agodes. And that can go ahead and destroy a card here with its on summon effect. And Invocation remembering to be banished here. Good catch. Sometimes that can be pretty easy to forget. And looks like he is going to decide to pop the token with Goaties. Otherwise, I don't think he has a way to get over it. And then we're going to see him crash Alistair into Shen Shen. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you still have, like, you're not getting over both the token. Also this Almirage should not be summoned in the MZ. That should be in the main monster zone because it was summoned from the graveyard. But, like, can't you just use Goaties to boost itself and pop the token? And then, like, I feel like that was done very weirdly. I don't know. I mean, he still, regardless, had a way to get over everything. But I feel like you could have also, like, forced out the Chuche. But then maybe you didn't need to. Because, like, again, he can just hold it here until, like, main phase 2 or end phase. To try to clear something. And you're also forcing out Almirage again. Which is, since a normal monster was just, or a normal summon monster was destroyed by, I think, battle or card effect, he gets to bring that back out from the grave. Not an effect that typically gets resolved all that often, but coming in kind of clutch here to protect against from another Chuche. And then he'll pass turn over to our VW player, who's going to start with a King Long, banish Kowloon to negate the Agodi, so he does not get the pop effect this turn. And he has Shen Shen in grave, also up by quite a bit in life points here too, so pretty ahead in this very, very grindy game 1 that we have so far, which is going over 20 minutes now at this point. And this is sped up by 150%, so they're getting pretty close to time here at this point. And then it looks like we're going to see Chuche actually pop King Long, recycling 2 King Long effect, search Lao Lao, discard the Lili, Lao Lao effect, go ahead and send another King Long from the deck, and he's going to go ahead and revive 1 now. We'll see what he brings back. He's going to bring back Gigi with it, Nyan, Synchro 6 into Juju, and Nyan effect. Going to recycle 1 back to the deck. Probably a card that was banished off Desires. Literally, like, next to no cards in the main deck right now. Rank 6 into Fan, banish Nibiru, banish 1 from grave. So really cleaning up here in the end. Gonna banish the Aerial. And now you just bring out Shen Shen, right? And I think you probably just close the game out from there. So yeah, it looks like he is just going to scoop. And realizing there's probably not much you can do at that point. And it's probably also not worth to play out since so much time has already passed. As we head into game 2, 22 minutes in. And of course, as these guys get started, I want to mention a quick shout out to Imperium Duelist. If you guys are interested in picking up some amazing playmat, sleeves, deck boxes, dice, and more, check them out at the link below. And don't forget to use my discount code WinnerKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel. And if you guys are buying anything off of TCG Player, please do not forget to use my affiliate link down in the description below. And if you guys are shopping on the coldest water, don't forget to use my discount code WK at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel, of course. But getting into it, Invoked going first here. Alistair and, normal shenanigans. It's met with Droll. So probably going to turn off the Dogmatica engine there. And ending on just 1 set with the Makaba. So pretty okay end board here. I mean, it's about average, I would say. Nothing too crazy. Also has Lancia in hand. Pretty okay, okay Floodgate here. I mean, he's already missed his window to be able to use it, effectively use it at this point, because King Long is going to be able to negate Makaba, and Makaba's not going to be able to stop it, because Makaba only negates activations of spell and trap cards, not the effects. He would have had to have negated King Long's activation, but obviously did not do that, so he cannot negate with Makaba on a card that has already been activated and is activating its effect. So he's going to chain Lancia in response, just kind of cover his bases there. I mean, you could have easily shotgunned it, but then you play into Gamma, but you have Makaba to prevent that from resolving, and he's going to activate Sanctum, and he's got a very, very clutch Ash there. Otherwise, that would have ended his turn. Going into Breaksword effect, popping the Makaba, and should be popping another card on his field. Okay, remembering to get rid of the Qinglong there. Battle phase attack for 2,000. Establish Zeus. This is huge, especially being in time as much as they are here. End phase add back. Normal summon Alistair. Sure, that's fine. I just don't see a way, and he's got a Droll Lock of his own here. I don't see a way that he's actually going to be able to get the damage gap covered here. He's going to go ahead and activate the invocation, summon out, and playing very frantically here because, again, not much time left on the clock, but realizing that there's not much he can do to cover the life points difference. And, yeah, that is going to be the end of the match there. VW taking it 2-0. Time rules, again, do kind of scuff things up, but it is what it is. If you guys want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, a special thanks goes to our Divine Level channel members, and they are Cadillacs84, Pony Stark, Keith Sidgers, Tweeter0226, and Black Ninja Money. Again, thank you guys so much as always for your extremely generous support.